Hello and welcome to the latest Greater Birmingham Chambers of Commerce Q&A. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Cllr Waseem Zaffar, who's the Cabinet Member for Transport and Environment at Birmingham City Council. And we're here together today to talk specifically about the Clean Air Zone, which is coming into Birmingham next year. So Councillor, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Likewise, thank you, Paul, for inviting me onto your session here.
Now it's been quite a long journey, hasn't it, really, with the Clean Air Zone and the Chamber and the Council. We've worked closely on this for a number of years. But just for those tuning in, first of all, Councillor, just remind us, I suppose, of the history and the background and why we need this Clean Air Zone and why we've been sort of collaborating around it, and also just the latest on the timeframes, because it's not been maybe as straightforward as we might have hoped.
Well, Paul, yeah, we've been working on this for some time now. Originally, the government were taken to court by a group of international environmental lawyers, Cllr, for the lack of action on tackling illegal and unsafe levels of air pollution right across the country. So in December 2017, the government sent us, we were one of 6 cities that received a ministerial direction to get legally compliant levels of nitrogen dioxide right across our city in the shortest possible time. So we took a few months to take stock of what the government had asked us to do. And in the summer of 2018, we went out for consultation on the Clean Air Zone category D, which is charging every single vehicle within the A45/40 Middle Ring Road. And when I say charging every vehicle, it is non-compliant vehicles. And the vast majority of vehicles that do go through our city centre and within the Clean Air Zone area are actually compliant. We estimate in the region of 3/4 at the moment. So there'll be a quarter of vehicles who are either not Euro 6 diesels or not Euro 4 petrols. And Euro 4 petrols, they've been manufacturing since something around 2006, 2007. Or if they're not, hybrid or electric vehicles too. Those are classified as non-compliant vehicles. And it's really to discourage people from driving into those already polluted areas who are driving non-compliant vehicles and hopefully either clean up their journeys through more sustainable modes of transport, whether it's our clean buses, walking or cycling, or upgrading to compliant vehicles. And we've got to remember, in a city like Birmingham, where we estimate in the region of 1,000 people, if not more, die prematurely because of illegal and unsafe levels of air pollution. This is a public health crisis. This was a public health crisis pre-COVID and will be a public health crisis post-COVID too. So we've really got to look into this and get this right.
I think that's been what's been interesting from our side in this, and you look at the levels of air pollution and the fact that it is a killer. And we've done this when we've done events talking about the Clean Air Zone. I mean, who wants cleaner air in the city? I think everyone would put their hand up. And I suppose during the coronavirus pandemic, certainly during the sort of lockdown, I think everybody recognised that it was strange when there wasn't as many sort of vehicles around. Things did seem cleaner and clearer. You always had to sort of rub your eyes and see, is this sort of correct? So as you say, though it was mandated by government due to the European Court ruling, it's been something which I think collectively it's been a sense in the Birmingham that we want our city to be cleaner and safer for people. And I think what you were saying just then around those vehicles who are affected by the Clean Air Zone, it's a critical point, isn't it? And again, we've seen this when we've talked about the Clean Air Zone. It's not a congestion zone. It's not about congestion charging. And quite often people will merge those together and think it's, for any car coming in and out of the city. But absolutely critically important that this project, the Clean Air Zone, is only for those sort of vehicles which are most polluting, which, as you sort of said, be it the sort of petrol cars probably sort of made more than 15 years ago, and diesels, the Euro 6, I think goes back to about 2014, and there are resources available online where you can type in your registration card sort of number plate and see if you are compliant or not. But massively important distinction there, isn't it? Because I think trying to be clear around what this is aiming to do is really important so that people can sort of get on board with it. I would say.
So come the 1st of June 2021, when we launched the government mandated clean air zone here in Birmingham, I'd like to think that, you know, we won't charge many vehicles, because we'd like to encourage as many people as possible by that stage to be driving compliant vehicles, which are not polluting our air as badly as some of those old diesel vehicles in particular. And we've got, you know, working with the chamber, we've, you know, co-designed and co-produced a set of mitigations and exemptions and secured £35 million from government to be able to support businesses in this city, to support the taxi community, to support those that we think will be probably the hardest hit in our communities, get, you know, to either offer them an exemption, whether it's a 12-month exemption if you work in the clean air zone area and earn less than £30,000, or if you've got a vehicle that's currently on a finance agreement, there's a 12-month exemption for that. There's also an exemption for up to, I think, 2 vehicles per business within the city centre clean air zone area. And of course, if you live within the clean air zone area, there's a 2-year exemption for you straight off. But alongside that exemption, we've got some mitigations too. And the whole purpose of that mitigation is to help you get onto cleaner and greener journeys and cleaner and greener transport, and help you with a step up through a financial incentive to get you the grant that you need for a compliant vehicle.
And that, again, critical, isn't it? Because it's about making this a positive. This is cleaning up the air for everyone, so everyone wins. And you know, I think that the mitigation packages and £35 million was a good ask, and we're pleased that, you know, by working together, we've been able to get the views and needs of businesses directly linked into the council's work and lobbying, and then able to actually secure a really significant amount of money there to buy more space and time for people who maybe can't make that change immediately. I mean, and just to sort of to remind everyone as well, what are the charges going to be for, say, you know, a car or a van coming in and out of the zone?
So for a non-compliant car, it's £8 a day. And for a non-compliant bus or a HGV, it's £50 a day. But we do know that our buses will be compliant by then. And I think the last time we met physically, Paul, was when we went to visit the National Express garage when they had launched their new electric buses, fully amazing 19 fully electric buses on the 6th route. And since then, obviously, we've also had the announcement that by next year we'll have 20 fully hydrogen buses in Birmingham too. So we're working very closely with bus operators, and obviously there's also the HGV fund that we've secured to support those who have the larger vehicles, the lorries, and help them get compliant too. So there's quite a bit of money towards that too.
Yeah, and I know National Express have done a phenomenal job with their fleet, and as you say, really embracing this and seeing it as a positive. And just to be clear as well for everyone watching, those charges, it's per day, it's 365 days of the year, and it's 7 days of the week. And in terms of the infrastructure now to help make this all work, is that in place? Where are we up to in terms of, you know, number plate recognition and signage?
So many people will see the cameras going up across the city. We've been having, both ourselves and the government have been having conversations with Siemens in terms of ensuring the back office technology will be ready by the 1st of June 21. We're very confident that will be in place. We're pretty sure it'll be in place well before then, so we can start to test it out too. And just to add, the charging, whilst we wouldn't want to charge anybody, we want everyone to be driving compliant cars. We know there will be some who will ultimately have to pay the charge. That will be reinvested. The money that we generate will be reinvested into improving air quality and improving public transport in the city. And we've already started to utilize some of the money in advance of the clean air zone. So the hydrogen buses, there's a contribution already in there from the clean air zone revenue money, some of the work on the university station and the Camp Hill stations. We've ensured there's resources gone into there, and also the work around pedestrianising the city centre and making our city centre far more attractive for people who work there, who visit there, and more people who are starting to live in the city centre. So we're really starting to reinvest the money that we're predicted to generate through the Clean Air Zone next year into creating a healthier city and a city that relies on and can utilize sustainable modes of transport within their daily work.
Yeah, it's an important point to make. It's not a sort of a get-rich-quick scheme that's been dreamt up. Success will be when ultimately the Clean Air Zone is generating no funds because everyone's driving cleaner vehicles. And as you say, I think that's an important distinction. I know we work, sort of well on that as well, to ensure that anything generated by this is reinvested sort of directly in cleaning up the air in the city, as you just outlined. I mean, I know that taxi operators have been one particular group of businesses who've sort of been challenged and expressed that quite directly. Sort of pre-COVID, certainly there were sort of some of the protests that were going on. I mean, how are things in terms of supporting them right now, and what's your sort of view on the future for taxi operators, particularly black cabs?
So of the £35 million we've secured as financial incentives to help people clean up the vehicles that they drive, £15 million of that is for Birmingham's licensed hackney carriage and private hire vehicles. So if you're driving a private hire vehicle and you're upgrading to a Euro 6 diesel or a Euro 4 petrol, there's £1,000 for you to help you with that. If you're upgrading it to a hybrid, there's £2,000, and for a fully electric is £2,500. And at the same time, we're also providing support to hackney carriage drivers, those that can have a retrofit into an LPG vehicle. So we're paying, I think, £5,000, which is nearly half the cost of that retrofit. We're also making a £5,000 contribution to a fully electric hackney carriage. And we're also buying 50 fully electric hackney carriage vehicles to rent out at minimal cost to drivers. So if you're coming towards the end of your career as a cabbie in the city, it's quite a substantial investment to make for a fully electric car. So we would help you by renting a council-owned fully electric black cab to yourself, and then you can keep earning, a living in the final few years of your career. We continue to have challenges with some sections of the taxi community, but we're working very hard. We speak regularly with the trade union. The predominant trade union is RMT. We've had a lot of conversation with Unite the Union. There's also the TOA group, and there's quite a number of representatives that work with the private hire community. As somebody who's once a trade union rep for the taxi community many years ago, I have some pretty strong links. I'm also the son of a former of a taxi driver. My late father was a cabbie in the city, and I often say this, and I'll repeat it. This is ultimately this Clean Air Zone is about health and improving health, the health and well-being of people, and particularly bus drivers and taxi drivers are 3 times more likely to have their health impacted by poor levels of air pollution. My dad died at 54. He was a type 2 diabetic, but generally his health was pretty good. And I often wonder the impact that illegal and unsafe levels of air pollution and hours sat behind a car, driving a diesel car in Birmingham, the impact that had on his health and ultimately his untimely demise. So this is about supporting taxi drivers, bus drivers, and citizens at large, and our young people to grow and live long, healthy, fit lives in our city.
Yeah, and look, it's a point really well made, and I think again the openness and the amount of engagement that's gone in and around the Clean Air Zone has been commendable. We've certainly sort of seen that at the chamber working closely with you. I think we've seen hundreds, nigh on thousands of downloads of a lot of the material around the Clean Air Zone, and we've held a number of events together which around raising awareness, I suppose, which have been incredibly well attended, and it feels like it's been around getting that message out there. And now the message is very much focused on, look, June the 1st, 2021 is going to be the date when it goes live. So I mean, you could look at it and say it's already 18 months later than was originally planned, and part of that has been now being sensitive, I guess, to the impact of COVID and also Brexit coming up at the start of the new year, I think, and to give that little bit of time. But it is trying to make a positive change, isn't it? And I mean, what sort of messages have you got for businesses then who maybe aren't fully aware right now? And there's a whole wealth of information around the Clean Air Zone, and there'll be plenty of links that people can see around this this video. But what's your sort of your message to businesses, Councillor, who want to find out more?
So the first thing is visit the website. The Brumbreeds website is full of resources, full of information. And if you've still got questions after visiting the website, drop us an email, contact us. And I know businesses can always contact the chamber too. And I just want to put on record, Paul, my thanks to you. It's been a long journey. We started talking about the Clean Air Zone a long time ago, and I still remember reading that article in a local newspaper, and that for me was sort of the challenge. We know that we have to introduce this government mandated Clean Air Zone, but we also know that we have to support businesses to do that. And you were very, very clear in that article on behalf of the chamber, where you said, you're supportive of cleaning up the air, but we have to understand the support that we have to give businesses. And working together, we've secured this resource, £35 million, the exemptions. And I'd like to think that you've had a huge role in as a chamber and you personally in helping us co-design and co-produce the support mechanisms. And that's come from talking, that's come from engaging, that's come from building a relationship. And so, we're very, very grateful at the council of the support that the chamber's given us. And we know you'll give us the same amount of support, if not more, as we move forward to launching.
That's very kind of you. And likewise, I think it's been a great example of open working and collaboration. And, this is about doing something good for the whole city, for all citizens. And we know that a healthier sort of citizen is also a more productive citizen. So you can directly equate that to an economic benefit as well. But no, it probably is even more simple than that. And I think that, it's critical now that we land this in the best possible way, isn't it? It's about making sure that everyone is fully aware, they know what they need to do. It's now 9 months just shy of until it goes live. So there's plenty of time for people to be aware. We know that there's an awful lot going on right now, but as you say, the Brumbreeds website, the chamber, we've got a whole glut of information as well. And so that's really the message for businesses, get up to speed, make sure you know what's what, and collectively we'll land this in the best possible way. And cleaning up the air in Birmingham, there's lots more to be done, but this is a big sort of step forward in the right direction. So thank you for coming on and joining us, and we'll no doubt be speaking again before we go live on the 1st of June 2021.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks again for the invite and all the support you've given us. Thank you.